Prioritizing yourself, at least now, those of you who are in their 40s and 50s, I'm asking you this: wouldn't you have loved to have a half an hour shower? Put on the music, half an hour all to yourself, without your husband, without your child, without anybody interfering. Wouldn't you have loved it? So start doing these kind of things. Plan your future. That's very important.
One of the things which is not being addressed in our society is the hormonal changes that come at the time of puberty and at the time of menopausal issue. Could you advise us on how to address these issues?
So when I spoke about women, this is exactly what I meant, because women particularly have these issues coming up during puberty and also during menopause, more so during menopause. Puberty, of course, it is under a controlled environment. The mother is there to protect, to take care, though there will be a conflict between the mother and the daughter that happens at that point of time. But menopause is the most unfortunate time because she has to deal with so many issues during that time. There are difficult situations all around her, and that is the time when she looks back and says, "What the hell is happening to me? What am I doing? What have I done with my life? Where have I ended it?" So it's a very difficult situation for her. So the best thing to avoid is not to get into that situation. If you don't want it to get into that situation, right from childhood, teach your child to prioritize an hour in 24 hours for her own self-development, for internal activity. Hormones will anyway change during puberty and during menopause, but how you react to that change will depend upon how you are brought up. If you're brought up in the right way, if you spend this hour balancing the 5 elements, trying to internalize, doing your meditation, you will not react the way everybody is reacting. It is not possible. It also depends upon the mother. How much can you help your child? How much of a friend can you to be your mother, if to your child? See, the problem is there is a generation gap, particularly right now in today's world, the generation gap is very vast. At some point of time, the generation gap used to be between the father and the son or the grandfather. But right now, every 4 or 5 years, there is a generation gap. So the mother is not able to identify with the daughter. Most mothers, they come to me and tell me, my daughter, she sleeps at 3 a.m., she wakes up at 8 a.m., and then she rushes to, why can't she sleep at 9 o'clock? So the age that I was born in, we had to sleep at 9 o'clock or 10 o'clock. But today's world, everybody is up till 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock. How can you ask your child, when all her friends are staying awake, how can you ask your child to sleep at 9 o'clock? You have to modify, you have to change certain things about you. Don't be rigid about certain rules and all that. Okay, you sleep at 3, you make sure that you get about 6 hours of sleep and do your duties next day in the morning. I'm fine with it. But the mother is very particular because the grandfather is seeing that the child is seeing at 3 o'clock. The grandfather will tell the mother, your child is not sleeping at 3 o'clock. The mother, though she believes it is okay, she'll go and tell the child. It's very complicated. So I think we have to have an open mind to the next generation that we are dealing with. Let them do, let them learn, let them fall, They will rise again. The only way to rise again is if you fall. Let them experience. Don't put your ideas into them. Let them form their own opinions and let them live their life. But prioritizing yourself, at least now, those of you who are in their 40s and 50s, I'm asking you this: wouldn't you have loved to have a half an hour shower? Put on the music, half an hour all to yourself, without your husband, without your child, without anybody interfering. Wouldn't you have loved it? But you can't do it today because you never did it. Today, if you start doing it, they'll think you're mad. So start doing these kind of things. Plan your future. That's very important.
I want to ask you how social and economic well-being can support confronting effective fighting with mental pandemic. In other words, if you see any connection between social and economic well-being and mental health.
Okay, what I understood that you're asking is there a connection between socio-economic and mental health?
Yeah, of course. And how this can support confronting mental problems, mental pandemic.
You see, the economic conditions, people who are in a low economic conditions, those who are not able to make their ends meet, they will only look for survival. They will not look for in an inward journey. It is not fair for us to go and even tell them to look at an inward journey because they have to make their ends meet. So for them, survival is the only thing. Now, this so-called avoiding the mental pandemics, and actually, frankly speaking, those people don't have the time to go into mental pandemics. They are so engorged, they are so much into their survival that they really don't have the time to get into the movie that is being made in our minds. We have a lot of time because we are comfortable as far as our survival is concerned. So whatever we are talking today is for those people whose comfort and conveniences are taken care of. I would definitely not go into a low economic person and preach them about how to avoid a mental pandemic. I hope it answers.
Thank you very much for answering.
So next, Mr. Padmachari, please.
Yeah. First thing, Dr. Manoj had said that we had what we manifest and think. If something good only happens, then what happens to what we went through in our lives? And we thought good will happen. It ended up disastrous, and we became fed up when the pattern was repeating. What is the cause? Is it because despite the fact that we thought good will happen, bad happened? Why does that happen?
Clearly, you have not manifested strong enough. That is the reason it happens. Let me give you a small example here.
Yeah.
I have a family of 4 who comes to me for treatment. 3 of them are my patients. The man was not my patient, but every time he would come, he would say, "Doc, please check my BP." I would check his BP and say it's normal. Next time again, he would say, "Check my BP." I said, "Why are you checking your BP?" No, please check my BP. Finally, at the end of 4 months, I told him, "Congratulations, your BP is high." Now, our body is made of trillions of cells, and each of the cell has an intelligence within it. Our body is capable of listening to a command that is given by the mind. It listens to everything. It obeys the command. It doesn't have the ability to question the command. Now, it has never happened that you want to go punch somebody and the body suddenly stops to think whether to punch or not. No, it just obeys the command. Now, suppose you have a disease. You have a psoriasis, which you know can sometimes get into a psoriatic arthritis. But you have a very little of a psoriasis. But you go on dwelling on the psoriasis. You think about the worst that can happen. You think about you becoming a cripple. You think about you being in a wheelchair, and you will definitely end up there. Now, this manifestation is not happening consciously. It is happening subconsciously. So if something is going wrong in our lives also, it is because we are manifesting it. We do not know. Our fears and anxieties manifest. The strength of that manifestation is so much more than our manifestation to do something good. That's the only way it can happen. But otherwise,
how to get past it? How to get past the pattern?
It is only meditation, sir. You have to stop your thought process. See, meditation, according to me, is nothing but being in a space where you're thoughtless. However you achieve it, whether it is through concentrating on the breath or whatever you do, whether it is tantra, mantra, whatever you do, you come to a stage where you're thoughtless. Once you're in touch with the truth, when you're thoughtless, you're touch in truth. Once you're in touch with truth, you can manifest anything. Negativity cannot come into you. Meditation is the only way.
Our next question is from Mr. Anu.
I must thank you for the session, and it was quite relevant and useful. I had been into meditation for many years. Sometimes I get some results, but there are some patterns of, say, fears or whatever memories are there which are not going. They're not leaving my system. So I'm just struggling to be free of whatever stored memories or trapped memories are there. So how can I be successful? How to totally come out and make those memories leave the system? So I'm struggling. So I've seen your video. I try all those videos, trapped emotions and all that. But if you can say something about it.
Sure. I'm glad that you're somebody who meditates also. Sir, you see, the karma is basically all those unpleasant memories. It is basically that. Now, our tradition, our Indian culture and tradition, have always believed that there are Mahapurushs, there are many people who take birth, and these people have the power to dissolve your karma. Now, there are various ways of dissolving your karma. They say that yantra, mantra, tantra. These are 3 things through which you can achieve that. You can achieve that even through your bhakti to a very holy person. It has happened in many places where people don't seek, people who are so devotional, they are so devoted that their sheer devotion will dissolve their karma. I mean, I've heard of people who are still alive in India who are supposedly reincarnations of certain gods who by their sheer looks can dissolve your karma. So you should keep trying various ways. Trapped emotion is only one tool that I have provided which can burn you. There are many such kind of tools which are available. You should keep trying. We don't know which will work for you. So keep trying different karmas. But what has worked for most people in India or in people I know is Bhakti. Bhakti Marg is what has worked for a lot of people. Total surrender to that divine force whom you believe in can get rid of you.
Yeah, I've been trying that. Let me hope that I'll be able to.
Sir, it is not necessary karma will go away in this life. It can take many lives for you to get rid of you. Karma is not something that can just go away. It might take many lives. So keep trying. That is what is our goal in life.
Psoriasis is a skin disease. It must be some untrapped emotions coming out. Could you advise? Could you talk about it?
So we've done a study about psoriasis for the last 3.5 years. And what we have concluded is that the biggest emotional conflict that comes in psoriasis or causes psoriasis is called as separation anxiety. Any skin disease that comes up, which is chronic, which is not going with medication, comes from separation anxiety. Last week, I had a patient who came to me with severe urticaria all over her body. She's been having it for 30 years, hives. She has taken immunosuppressants, she has taken steroids, she has taken all sorts of medications, but it is not happening. When we took her history, we realized that she developed it the day her son went to the US to study. Separation anxiety, separation from being separated from her son. That is one such anxiety. The second separation anxiety is wanting to separate from a toxic relationship. So this is one of the emotional conflict that is the root cause of psoriasis. So if you are able to become aware that this is the reason for my psoriasis can dissolve. Homeopathy can help you become aware. Homeopathy helps in the process of this awareness. That is why mental symptoms are taken and then prescribed. We've been able to help a lot of people with psoriasis. There are a few percentage of people who go into what is called a psoriatic arc, which means the psoriasis from the skin, it goes and affects their joints, their spine and everything. The medical science does not know why it goes. It just says that psoriasis shifts from the skin to the joints. It doesn't know how to. Now imagine out of 100 people, there are a few people who don't like their skin patches, so they keep it covered from others. They're ashamed. There are a few people who keep it covered from themselves because they get disgusted when they look at themselves. Now, you do know that skin is a part of you. Skin can react. It can actually communicate with the brain. When it is cold, it will tell you. When it is hot, it will tell you. When it is painful, it will tell you. Now, such a skin, if every time you look at it, you're looking at it with disgust, what will the skin do? It will try to go inside and hide. So you are with your disgust driving your psoriasis from your skin into your bones, which is causing psoriatic arthritis. Where medical science cannot give an explanation, this is the kind of explanation one needs to look up and understand. So you stop that disgust about psoriasis. Slowly you start coming into terms with your skin and start loving your skin. It will slowly turn around. I hope it helps.
Thank you. Another question is, the mood swings that come at the time of menopause or before the period start. What is your advice on that?
It is purely a hormonal thing. There is nothing much you can do about it except the partners understanding the problem. If the partner and the family understands that during this particular time, the lady is going through what she's going through and she has no control over it, it can be mitigated to a large extent. What happens is, this is exploited by the lady. She continues to have mood swings, even though when she's not in her periods, and she will blame it on menopause, and she expects the whole family to understand. That is where it goes wrong. So as long as it is confined to that particular part or the period of menses where it is happening, a cooperation and understanding that's the only way out. There are homeopathic medicines which can to a large extent reduce the premenopausal issues. There are wonderful homeopathic medicines. We've been able to do that for a lot of people. We have young girls coming. They're so cranky before their periods. They're unbearable before their periods. So there are wonderful medicines and they are not chemicals. They do help.